At the community kitchen, we are now feeding an average of 500 meals every day, and our numbers are growing. Some of the things we provide other than meals is that we provide clothing, showers, laundry service. We have a foot care clinic. We open our doors to other agencies to come in and provide care for homeless people. When the weather is absolutely threatening and inclement, we become an emergency shelter for the homeless. And we work very closely in tandem with the Hamilton County Health Department that operates the Homeless Healthcare Center on our site. The Homeless Healthcare Center provides comprehensive medical treatment for the homeless. They offer alcohol and drug recovery programming. We also have an on-site case manager from Joe Johnson Mental Health Services that offers our only connection to mental health services for homeless people. One thing that is pretty stunning is that 82% of all homeless people have a diagnosable mental health issue, and it runs from situational depression to paranoid schizophrenia and psychosis. Getting medications for our people, even with Joe Johnson's assistance, can be almost impossible. Without Joe Johnson assistance to the homeless, we would be in dire straits in terms of their mental health. Getting medical treatment for homeless people is really, without the Homeless Healthcare Center, really impossible. What we're finding now is that Erlanger Hospital is cutting back on clinic cards for homeless people, which means that a homeless person pretty much has to be in high triage, has to be in dire straits in order to get real medical attention. So there's really no preventive health care. When you become homeless, your age of mortality drops 10 years automatically. So health issues are really huge among the homeless population. So getting those cards from being treated at homeless health care, going over to Erlanger is becoming very, very difficult. One thing that I think is really important to remember, the homeless people that we provide, we depend on the AIM Center, Joe Johnson, sometimes Fort Wood. We depend on the health department hugely to help them survive day to day. Right now we estimate that between 500 and 600 people are sleeping outside every night. That means they are sleeping without restrooms, they're sleeping in tents, vehicles, abandoned buildings, in unspeakable situations. So without the services of these agencies, they are not going to survive. One thing that really, really worries me is that right now, if you are homeless and indigent and you die, there is a huge question about how you are to be buried. I tend to be the next of kin in a lot of people's wallets. I'm the next of kin, so I get the call that the person has died. That means that I go out and find a funeral home that will take the body, or I call the coroner and claim the body if there's no family, and a lot of times there's not. The county then pays for the burial. The body is unembalmed. It is placed in a pressed board casket, and it is buried at Cofer Cemetery. It's a very green burial. You go back to the earth pretty quickly in those circumstances. Here's the issue. I was told recently by 2 different funeral homes that the county wants to start cutting funding for those burials. And that the county is saying that we need to start cremating people. In the state of Tennessee, if you are not the next of kin, you cannot authorize cremation. So my question is, what are we going to start doing with these bodies? And there's going to be a lot more of them. One year we had 47 homeless burials through the community kitchen. Cofer Cemetery is filling up. We buried a man 2 weeks ago, and I looked. There's not a lot of space there. And when he died, he had in his pocket a comb and 36 cents. That was his estate. And the medications that homeless health care had given him. So when we start thinking about services, we forget that human existence starts at birth and ends at Potter's Field. And that all along the way, these services are essential to the people who are sleeping outside and have nothing but us. There's no one there for them but us. And in closing, I'd just like to say, we live in a city that has no homeless shelter. We have a mission. The mission has 46 beds for men, 12 beds for women. So every night, 500 people are sleeping out there on loading docks, in the woods, wherever they can hide from us. And I just want to give you a quote that I still think about. About 3 or 4 years ago, I was standing with our mayor, who I respect, and I said, Your Honor, in a city like Chattanooga, where compassion flows like honey, how can we possibly not have a shelter for the homeless? And he said this to me, and I quote, because the people of Chattanooga lack the political will to make it happen. I don't believe that. I refuse to believe that. And I refuse to believe that the people of Hamilton County and Chattanooga will allow these services to simply disappear. I refuse to believe that, because every day I see the heart of this city. And I know what we're capable of. And we can truly reach into our hearts and find a way and the political will to turn this around. And I celebrate you being here to stand side by side.